What's good, y'all? Welcome back to another episode of In the Loop, Out the Mix. I'm your host, Jace 2 Cents, and I played myself. I was supposed to release this episode last week, but let's just say I recorded it and I forgot to check the audio. I forgot to make sure that my audio was working smoothly. So I didn't end up getting the episode out last week. I don't know when this will release, but I'm back whenever this releases. All right, y'all. So today we're talking about why the narrative, the idea, the belief that you should have everything figured out by a certain age is stupid. I put 20 in the title because I'm 21. So that's why I put 20 in the title. But really, the idea that you should have everything figured out at any age, it doesn't matter what age we're talking about, 30, 40, 50, 60. Even though by 60, I would hope you have some things figured out. Like, that idea is really stupid. And one of the reasons why I feel like that idea is stupid is because if we're being honest, nobody really has everything figured out. Even the people who we see online who are so successful, uber successful, they got all the money, they got all the pleasures of life, even those people are still figuring it out as they go. Especially the ones who get to where they're at and they're like, "Wait, I'm still not happy. What else do I do now?" Those people really have to start figuring things out as they go. And for the most part, this is really just a narrative that's pushed online. Like I just mentioned, those successful people who seem to have everything all well put together, whose lives look like the perfect movie from the outside looking in. It's mostly pushed by people like that. Now, you got the occasional people who will keep it real and be like, "Yo, I don't actually have everything figured out." But then you got the people who want to like pose as if they've always known that they were going to be where they're at and try to make it seem like you're supposed to map out your whole life to know exactly how you want it to go down to the very last minute, down to the very last second of whatever age you want to be. Those people are crazy, yo. And if we're being honest, I've seen too many cases of people who are successful, because success is subjective. They too also wandered when they were younger. They also spent a period of time in their lives when they were like, "I don't know exactly what it is that I want to do. I have an idea of what I want to do, but I don't know how I'm going to get there. I have an idea of what I want to do, but I don't know how it's going to work out. I don't know if it's going to be successful." And then they embark on whatever journey that is that they try to do. Sometimes you get the people who they start something, it becomes so successful, and that's what they do with their lives. Then you got the other people who they try multiple things and they fail at multiple things. And it isn't until like some great thing, great big event happens in their lives to where everything else just starts falling into place. Like when I read The 4 Hour Work Week by Tim Ferriss, the way that he described how he was before he became like where he is now, very successful multimillionaire, he was literally doing some of the same exact things that I find myself doing, to the point where it was hilarious reading him describe how he was procrastinating certain tasks that he had to do, and how he would like joke about where he was and like at his lowest points in his life. There are things that I'm relating to even right now at my age of 21. And that's when I'm like, yo, I'm over here beating myself up for not having XYZ figured out, for not having a step by step plan on what it is that I want to do and how to make it successful, when some of the people that I look up to are people who went through that exact same thing and they just so happened to stumble upon something that worked. It's trial and error. And that's what everybody else is also going through in their lives right now. Trial and error. Me, who's 20 years old and I'm still trying to figure my way out in life. Trial and error. You who's watching this video and you're like, "Man, to be honest, I'm whatever age and I still don't really know what it is I want to do." You got to try, fail, and then reassess where things went right and wrong and then move on from there. You don't just make the plan and then do the plan. That's not how it works in real life. It sounds good on paper. It sounds good theoretically, but that's not always how it goes. Unless you're like an architect and you're building a building, then it's probably exactly how it goes. Anyway, y'all get the point. To be honest, I'll go online and I'll see somebody who acts like they have everything figured out. And most of the time, those people are just faking it. You ever notice how the people who go online and tell other people how to live their lives and try to teach other people how to be successful? Hey, if you want to start this successful drop shipping business, just follow me. Buy my course. You ever notice how those people are always selling courses? How is it that the super successful people with all the answers are selling courses, but the people who are buying the courses aren't producing the same results? Something fishy going on there. And I kind of have a grudge against people who sell bullshit courses. I'm not saying that every single person who has a course that they sell online is faking it. It's just putting together basic information that you could have Googled yourself so they can say that, oh, you bought the course to save you the time of going into doing it yourself. I'm not saying that there's no value in every single course out there, because I do believe that there are some courses out there that are actually like pretty valid, like pretty solid in what it is that they teach you. But for the most part, y'all, the courses that I be running into are like the basic ones that I just talked about. They put the most basic information in there, and then the person is like, oh yeah, just follow these steps and you could be like me. But in reality, they're just making money off of the people buying the courses. And it's like, yo, y'all ever noticed that? Y'all don't tell me y'all noticed that. The people who have it all figured out always got the courses with the most basic information telling you that this is what you got to do to make it like me. A lot of people be faking it until they make it. They fake like they got it all figured out until they finally make it. And then the illusion of them making it from the faking makes it look like the faking it till they made it worked. And in reality, it kind of did. But it's not going to work for you. It's not going to work for me who's buying the course. I don't buy courses, y'all. I'm just giving an example. And I won't even lie to y'all. To some extent, faking it till you make it is kind of valid, because when you fake it, you're essentially like building confidence in a way. And I learned in this course, like I said, there are some courses that are like worth it. But I don't know if this is going to fall into that category, because hold up. There was this course that I got, and one of the things that the YouTube creator was like, he had this saying where it's like confidence breeds competence, and it's an infinite loop. So the more confident you become in something, the more confidence you'll have in your ability to do that thing. Vice versa. The more confidence you have in your ability to do something, even if you're bad at it at first, the more you do it, even if you're bad at it, the better you'll get over time, and the more confident you'll be as you get better at it over time. It's an infinite loop. I guess I can see how that works. But like I said, y'all, I don't think this course counts as one of those legit courses, because I ended up getting my refund because, yo, it had a bunch of basic information that I could have learned myself. Hey, man, to each their own. I don't mess with courses. And if you sell courses, if you're one of those people who's like, hey, man, all it takes to be an expert is knowing more than the outside population, I got a bone to pick with you. I'm going to leave it at that. Tangents aside, anyone who goes online and tells you that they have it all figured out, that at this age, this is the step-by-step plan that you can execute to follow in my success, anybody who goes online and tells you that, they're full of shit. Straight like that. Don't get me wrong, y'all. It's one thing to have a vision for your life, to be like, this is where I'd ultimately like to end up, and these are things that I could do that will possibly get me closer to that goal, that will possibly bring me closer to achieving that dream for myself. That's okay. But it's something completely different to say, all right, this is what I want to have accomplished by this age. This is the step-by-step plan that I'm going to do to get there. Because I had this conversation with my boy at work, and we were like, yeah, you can have a step-by-step plan, be like, all right, I'm going to do this, that, and then do this, that, and this is going to happen. And then boom, you get in a car accident. And then boom, somebody very close to you passes away, and now you lose all your drives to do whatever it is that you had to do. Like, life happens, y'all. Things can happen. And that's why I like really believe that idea that you need to have every single thing figured out is so stupid. So I'm 21. Imagine if I tell myself now, all right, I want to be married in 2 years. I'm going to be making 6 figures a year. I'm going to have this business. I'm going to do that, this, that, and the third. And this is how it's going to go. I don't know where I'm going to be in 2 years. I don't even know if I'll still be here in 2 years. You know, to get married, you have to find somebody who wants to marry you as well. Like, these are all different things that could literally fall through because that's just how life works. Life doesn't go the way that we plan it to. And this literally reminds me of the Bible and how in the book of James, it even talks about being overly confident in yourself, in your own abilities. And it's James chapter 4, verses 13 to 16, I think. I'm going to read it for y'all. I'm reading out the NLT, and it says, "Look here, you who say, today or tomorrow we're going to a certain town and will stay there a year. We will do business there and make a profit. How do you know what your life will be like tomorrow? Your life is like the morning fog. It's here a little while, then it's gone. What you ought to say is, if the Lord wants us to, we will live and do this or that. Otherwise, you are boasting about your own pretentious plans, and all such boasting is evil." All such boasting is evil. And it's pointless because, like I literally just said, I could be here today and croak tomorrow morning. I could go to sleep tonight and not wake up tomorrow. I know that the likelihood of that happening probably isn't that likely. God forbid, of course. But that's the truth of the matter. So for us to sit here and say, all right, this is exactly what I'm going to do. This is exactly how I'm going to do it. This is exactly how it's going to go. All right, I got it all figured out. Boy, you sound foolish. God is looking at you and he's laughing because he sees exactly how our lives are going to play out. And we don't even see all of the stumbling blocks that lie ahead of us, all of the mental challenges that lie ahead of us, the things that are going to kill our drive to keep on going. We don't see all those things. We're just thinking about the end goal. We're just thinking about the highlights. But life don't work like that, y'all. Another reason why I feel like this whole idea of having everything figured out is stupid is because, by telling yourself, oh, I'm this age and I still haven't done XYZ, like me. I'm 21. And one thing that I used to beat myself up over is how I'm still 21 and I'm living with my parents. But in reality, y'all, I don't know about where you live here in the US, but here in South Florida, it's tough out here in South Florida. All the people who I know that have moved out of their parents' house already, for the most part, not every single person I know that's moved out, but for the most part, those people are living with roommates, 2, 3 roommates, and they all splitting rent. It's like, it's not sweet out here, fam. So what am I about to beat myself up over because I'm still living with my people? I'm still in school. I'm still going to school. I'm not in my career field, even though, like, yeah, the career that I want. We're not gonna talk about that right now. That's a different topic. But it's like I'm still in school. I'm still working a regular old job at the gym. And it's like, fam, I could beat myself up over still being with my people, but why would I? The only time I ever feel like doing anything like that is when I'm looking at other people my age online, on TikTok, Instagram, posting their highlights about how they just got their new crib, how they just got their new apartment, got their new lease. But they don't show you how they got it. Most of them don't, at least. You don't know who's paying for it. You don't know if they're paying for it, their parents. You don't know what type of economic situation that they're in that's allowing them to afford such a lifestyle. People aren't always going to be transparent with you about that. All of that stuff just makes it even harder to enjoy the process that we call life. My boy Dimitri, he reminded me that life comes in seasons. And I think it's very true. You got your winter seasons where things is cold. It's rough out in winter, all right? You got to go shoveling snow. I don't know anything about shoveling snow. I've lived in Florida all my life. But for the sake of the freaking metaphor, you shoveling snow, you got to go out in your snow coat. It's blizzarding outside, yo. You got to go out with your layers. It's not fun in winter. Then you got spring. Spring is when life starts budding. You got the flowers that's about to start blooming. All right. It's nice outside. You can feel the nice warm breeze in the afternoon. You could go on a walk in your shorts. Enjoy the sunset. And then summer. Summer is where everything's popping. Everything's popping in summer. You got motion for real. I hate using that word. But in summer, you got motion. Everything's looking up for you. Everybody want to be around you. It's popping. Then you got fall. Fall is when things start settling down. Everything starts settling in. It's like, oh man, the season's changing. I got to slow down a little bit. The motion's slowing down a little bit. I got to get ready because winter's coming knocking right all over again. Life comes in seasons. And so by being so caught up in what everybody else has going on, comparing yourself to where they're at, thinking that, oh, they're at this stage in their life and they're X amount of age, I should have my stuff figured out. Why am I not where they're at? It just makes focusing on you that much harder, yo. It's hard to focus on the business that you're trying to build, the content you're trying to create, the career that you're pursuing, when the pressures of what everybody else is doing is weighing in on every single decision you're making. And listen, I don't think there's anything wrong with you, me, or anybody else that's listening. Just because you may not be wherever it is that somebody else is, or even where you might want for yourself, where you want to be yourself. There's nothing wrong with that. For every person that there is online that says, if you're still 21 and you live with your parents, you're lame, you're this, you're that, there are a bunch of other people out there who will say, hey, if you're still 21 and you living with your parents, you're not paying rent, you're smart as hell. Save all your money. Save as much money as you can. Do you see what I mean? And that's another thing. A lot of people who are older that I could look to as like mentors in a way, they'll tell me like, yo, don't rush to move out of your parents' house. Or as someone who, like me, is single, they'll be like, don't rush to get married. Why? It's not because doing those things is bad, but why would you be in a rush to move out of your parents' house if you don't need to? If I'm still single, I don't have a wife, I don't have children that I'm trying to raise, why am I in a rush to move out of my parents' house? Why am I in a rush to get married and miss out on the time that I have to get to know myself? Because that's one thing they always remind me of, especially as it relates to like getting in relationships. They're like, the time that you have right now is time for you to enjoy and get to know yourself, get some hobbies, because when you're married, your time is no longer just your own. Once you're married, you have somebody else to worry about. Someone else's time that you have to take into account, the time you spend with them, the time you invest into building that relationship. And all of that is very time consuming and very resource consuming too. So they tell me, yo, take your time. Why are you rushing? And I think all of those people, because as hard as it is sometimes, you know, my ego will get in the way and be like, damn, bro, you got no motion for real. Like, this guy got this going on. He got that going on. What you got going on? But at the same time, I'm still figuring it out. I don't have it all figured out, and that's okay. I'm figuring it out. And that's what matters. Because that is an it's of course, there's also like the counter argument. I don't even know if it's an argument, but like the idea that at some point you kind of do have to have stuff figured out. Like if you're still 36 playing video games in all your free time, living in your parents' house, your mother's basement, as online people like to call it, yeah, at that point you may be falling a little behind, my boy. Like I'm not saying you falling behind other people. At that point, you falling behind on yourself, because ain't no way, my bro. Ain't no way you still living in your people's house and all you do is play video games when you done working your 9 to 5, bro. Ain't no way that's all you're aspiring to. So there is a healthy level of ambition, you know? It goes back to what I said about like having that vision for yourself and doing things that will get you closer to that vision. If you're doing the best that you absolutely can, then that's what I would say is figuring it out step by step, figuring it out as you go, doing the best that you can to get yourself closer to where you want to be every single day. It might take shorter than others. It might take longer than others. Who knows how long it's going to take, so long as you keep on moving forward, yo. That's all that really matters. Just keep on keeping on. I think what really, at least affects me, is the underlying theme of that idea. And it's that if you aren't where you want to be, or if things aren't going the way that you want them to, it's your fault. Like we already said with the example of somebody who's living with their parents at 36. If that guy's life isn't where he wants it to be, and he doesn't switch anything up to try and get closer to where he does want to be, then yes, it is 100% his fault. Stop playing the games, bro. Put the controller down, bro. Put the controller down, bro. But if you're genuinely doing everything in your power to try and get closer and closer to whatever it is you're working toward, at that point, it's just part of the process. If you're genuinely giving it your all, trying your best to improve in whatever craft it is you're doing, trying your best to take whatever it is you're doing to the next level, and you're still struggling, you're still not seeing the results you want, it might suck to hear, but you just got to keep on going. You can't control the results. All you can control is what you do. As long as you keep doing your best, then I think eventually whatever it is you're working towards will come to pass. God willing, of course. But yeah, if you're not giving it your all and you're not where you want to be, don't be sitting up here complaining that your life sucks. It's your fault. At that point, yes, it is your fault. Do more. Try harder. You get what I'm saying. This idea adds a lot of fear to whatever it is we're doing. Because if you believe that you have to have everything figured out, then you're also probably fearing making the wrong choice. Because if you're not 100% certain in what it is you're doing, you're like, dang, what if this isn't what I'm supposed to be doing with my life? Like, what will happen then? Like, will I have wasted X amount of years of my life? Like, I will never be able to get this time back. And that's where, if you didn't watch the last episode on taking risks, I suggest you go watch that. But it's like, you won't know if it's for you unless you try. You won't know if you're making the right decision until you make the decision and see the outcome. Until you commit yourself to whatever it is that you want to try for a good amount of time to see, hey, is this something that has potential? Or have I wasted X amount of months or years, and should I take a pivot? Should I go in a different direction? You won't know unless you try. And if you don't try and you keep asking yourself, what it is should I do? You're going to be wasting time. And then you're going to be like, dang, I wish I would have tried this sooner because I would have got the answer faster. That's where I was at when I made my first episode 2 years after wanting to start the pod. I was like, dang, I wish I would have done this sooner so I could have learned all of these things that I'm learning right now faster. Shout out to my boy Dimitri once again. What he said to me was so good in the moment because it's exactly what I needed to hear. I was talking about how I felt like everything, like all my plans were falling apart. How after I got the knee surgery, my grandma passed, and on that same day, my car broke down. I haven't had a car since then, and just falling behind on everything that I wanted to do for myself. I told him how it just felt like everything was falling apart. And that's when he said, when things fall apart, they also fall together. And that's where I have this like full circle moment about the people that I look up to. Like, some, if not most of those people had to go through pretty crappy circumstances to realize what it is they needed to do to get where they were. Some people had to spend most of their lives lost before they could get to whatever successful pivot that they got to, you know? In the same way, those people had to spend some time lost, had to get some things wrong before they could get some things right, is the same way that, like he said, when things fall apart, they also fall together. So yeah, when I think about where my life is going right now, I think that's exactly how I feel. Everything felt like it was falling apart, but now it also feels like everything is coming together. Bit by bit, I'm making small pivots. I'm taking small steps that are aligning me with my greater goal for myself. I won't even hold y'all. When he said that, I quickly put it in my note of quotes. I got a quote of notes. I got a note of quotes, y'all. Literally like just quotes on quotes on quotes. But yeah, shout out to D, because when he said that, it was exactly what I needed to hear. And I hope that for those of you listening, y'all can walk away with the same peace from that word. If you feel like your life is falling apart right now, trust, because it also may be falling together. Those pieces that are falling out of place on your plan may be aligning for an even greater plan that you couldn't have even thought of for yourself. And that's where, to my believers, I got an encouragement for y'all. And it's, never forget that everything works to the good of those who love God and are called to his purpose. I can't remember exactly how the verse went, but it's in the Bible. It's in the New Testament somewhere. I'll probably go look it up right after I finish recording this. But yeah, everything works for our good. Even now at the age of 21, there are so many mistakes that I've made in the past. So many times where I thought that I was wasting my time learning some skill that I never thought I would use again. Where the Lord has used those things, my shortcomings, things that I never thought would be applicable to where I'm at now, for his greater purpose, for where I'm trying to go even now. And so I say this to encourage all of you listening, all of you watching, like, yo, stop focusing so much on making the right choice, doing the right thing, having everything figured out, and just start acting. Never forget that we might have our own plans, but the Lord determines our steps. And I feel like that goes for righteous and wicked alike. Whether you believe in the God of the Bible or not, you might have your plans, but it's ultimately God who determines where it is you're going to end up. So stop stressing so much. And if you do believe in God, go and ask him about it. Ask him to help you. He's willing to help. He's willing to give you wisdom. You just got to ask. And I think the real reason why that quote from Dimitri gives me so much like peace is because in a way it means that I'm exactly where it is I'm supposed to be right now. If life is a bunch of seasons, if things fall together even as they fall apart, then even now, in the most mundane situation that I find myself in, where I feel like I could be doing more, but at the same time, there's not much more for me to be doing, even now, I'm exactly where I'm supposed to be. And even you, wherever you are, whatever it is you're going through, trust that it's exactly where it's supposed to be, and look for the lessons that you can learn from it. Because I won't lie to you, there are a lot of things that I've learned since recovering from my knee surgery, losing my car, having to rely on people to get to and from places. Like, there have been a lot of lessons that I've learned, and it's going to make me that much more grateful when things do eventually get better. So yeah, that's it for today's Yap session. If you're watching on YouTube, please like the video. If you're listening on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, leave your boy 5 stars. I'm trying to get more of y'all in the loop and not the mix with it. So leave a 5 stars, like the video, sub if you're new. Y'all gotta help me help y'all, which in turns really helps me. But you get what I'm saying. Oh, I totally almost forgot to mention, this may or may not be the last time y'all see my room like this. I don't know how long it'll take me to redo, but I do intend on redoing my room. I mentioned that I want to start streaming and start doubling down on the content, so that's exactly why I'm redoing my room. I hate the color. The color's kind of trash, just being honest. So, yeah. If I could get it done in time, then I will release another episode next week as usual. If not, I may not get an episode next week, but trust, it's for good reason. I'm finally doing the things that I said I've always wanted to do, taking the steps to get even closer to where I want to go. And that's why, yo, please, you who's listening, you who's watching, if you made it all the way this far, start doing whatever it is you've been putting off, but you've always wanted to do. Take baby steps. Take baby steps. But please, just start. Just start. Stop waiting. Stop wasting time. Just start. Because who knows? When you finally take that first step, you might have wished that you took it way earlier. Anyway, that's pretty much it. It's been your boy Jay, spreading his 2 cents, one part at a time. Until next time, I'm Alka.